This fire is just ripping and roaring up this hill. We've been able to hear it. You can feel the heat. Yeah, look at that. The power pole's up in flames.
You got to get out of here.
No. When the flames come over here, I'll get out of here.
Hurry up, you guys!
Wow, right on top of the flames. I mean, that's a 10 out of 10 right there.
When it hits that mountain right there, I'm out.
As we approach the bottom of the hour, a minute away from 10:30, the Hughes Fire continues to burn tonight. The firefighters have a good hold on it, but the wind starting to pick up a bit.
Fox 11's Ed Lascos is standing by with the update for us. Ed.
And Christine and Marla, you said it, they've got a hold on this thing, some of the flanks, but we still have the wind picking up, so the threat is still here. Al will give you a look. This is the view off Castaic Road, just off the 5 freeway. Up on that ridge, all those flashing red lights, those are the engine companies on the fire line there. The northwestern flank of this fire, shutting down a wall of flames that we've been seeing roaring about 30, 40 feet high the last several hours, but they've knocked it down now. Big concern about those ember castings if these winds pick up, blowing. If you could see some of the smoke, it's hard to see at this point, but it would be blowing to the right of your screen, meaning that the winds are blowing, propelling any of those embers to the south, the southeast, so they wanted to eliminate that threat by knocking it down. So more of what's going on here in the fire lines. To the video we go, check it. Lots of relief engines coming in, dozens of them rolling in here, one even from the city of Santa Monica, replacing the firefighters who've been on the front lines for now almost the past 12 hours. A big part of the firefight, according to LA County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney. Another part, he says, thankful for the winds allowing the air attack to continue through the nighttime hours. The Firehawk choppers flying one after another with their night vision spinning around and making their water drops, hitting the hot spots, hitting some of the dry brush ahead of the fire line to keep the containment, to keep those fire embers from moving. As the fire chief says, this has been a long battle and it continues through the night. Listen to the chief.
We are going to be on scene all night long, gaining more perimeter control, making sure that we can put out the hot spots, and then have enough resources and staging that if we do have a flare-up, we can move those resources to the fire line. So we already have a plan for tonight, and we're making orders for tomorrow. We're going to keep the 4,000 firefighters assigned to the incident. We're going to increase our perimeter control, and we're going to extinguish those hot spots. So those would be the tasks.
Now you're looking live at the task. The chief was talking about extinguishing those hot spots in that line of the flashing lights on that fire road up there on the ridge. They've shut down the northwestern flames, the flames that were coming up to the left of your screen. Now they're working on a lot of those hot spots. They've got a busy night ahead, trying to do as much as they can now in the next couple of hours, as those winds, as Fire Command said, maybe about 2, 3 in the morning. They were worried about them really starting to whip up through here. So they're getting a lot accomplished on the ground, in the air, as the firefight goes on. Back to the west side we go.
We commend them for all of their hard work. All right, Ed, thanks so much. Now for a different vantage point on the Hughes Fire.
Go back to Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards live in Castaic. She's near the Pitches Detention Center. Chelsea.
That's right. So we're standing south of where you just saw Ed Lascos, about a mile south, and this is the northern entrance to the Pitches Detention Center, and this is where some 4,000 inmates are currently sheltering in place. I want to show you some video from earlier tonight. Emergency personnel, fire trucks have been going in and out all night long at this entrance here. Media is not allowed. We've tried to get in there, but it's really just the emergency personnel that are going in and out. Now, as the flames just exploded miles away from this facility, about 480 inmates were taken from one area of the sprawling complex to another. All of them, though, again, still on the property. And this thing is huge. You've got about 1,000 acres on this complex, and there's actually 4 facilities that are housed there. So there's the Pitches Detention Center East, North, and South, and also the North County Correctional Facility. And that's where those inmates are currently being stationed, we're told, in some concrete buildings. That's where they're sheltering in place. The officials say they are working on a plan in case there needs to be be a larger scale evacuation for those inmates. But right now, things looking pretty good. I think you're looking at some video from earlier, though, from this northern entrance. Those flames were visible for hours on the hillsides to the north of the complex. Right now, though, at least it's looking a whole lot better. Let's take a live look, if we're not right now, at what we're seeing here. You can see very smoky, very low visibility, but looking to the north onto those hillsides, not seeing those hot spots that we saw earlier. We can see the orange glow from that power pole that's still burning, still smoldering, but those hot spots are gone, and that's thanks to all of the work from these firefighters who have been attacking this thing, as we've all been talking about, from both the air and the ground, just aggressively all night long. I can hear another helicopter coming. We've seen several go back and forth over the last 15-20 minutes or so, so they are really fighting this thing very hard. Also in the back of me is an animal shelter, the Castaic Animal Shelter. Thankfully, that was evacuated successfully earlier today. All the dogs, the cats, the chickens that were there have all been taken to the Lancaster Animal Care Center. There's also the Palmdale Animal Care Center that's open for small animals as well. So a lot of good news to report here. I mean, this really is, at least so far, being contained to the northern part of this facility. The detention center currently not under a lot of immediate threat, and those inmates are obviously still there sheltering in place. But of course, conditions could change. We will be monitoring it throughout the night. Christine, Marla?
We'd like to hear the good news. All right, Chelsea, thanks so much. The Hughes Fire brought the Grapevine to a standstill, shutting down the 5 freeway that was earlier today.
Tonight, traffic is moving again as lanes have reopened. Fox 11's Christy Fajardo's live with the latest updates from Castaic Road near the 5 freeway. Christy?
Yeah, not only is the 5 freeway open, many of the drivers are probably wondering where the fire is. It's actually right over there, but as you heard Chelsea say, things are looking a whole lot better. When we first got here, there was actually a wall of flames. Now we're just seeing what look like flickering orange lights. Those are actually little hot spots, but those helicopters have come in and they have really beaten back the flames. And walk with me, because that is the 5 freeway right over there. As you can see, traffic is moving in both directions. But if we pan that way, I can show you that Parker Road is still closed, at least the off-ramp is. And take a look. I want to show you video of what it looked like earlier. That's when the CHP closed the 5 freeway from the Grapevine to Castaic, and it remained closed for several hours. As you can imagine, traffic was backed up for miles as drivers had to find alternate routes. Officials wanted to free up the highway to get fire engines in as quickly as possible. They also wanted crews to be able to move around, and they were worried about visibility because there was so much smoke. They reopened the freeway about 6:30 this evening, but 2 northbound freeway off-ramps remain closed at Parker Road, as I mentioned, and also at Lake Hughes Road. And that's to keep looky-loos away and also to keep the roads free of traffic so fire engines, crews, and water tenders can move around unimpeded as they try to stop this fire. And earlier tonight, the CHP actually warned that with the winds coming in, there was a chance that they could close the 5 freeway again, because if those winds pick up, the flames can pick up and so can the smoke. But right now, conditions, as I mentioned, are looking a whole lot better. Live in Castaic, I'm Christy Fajardo. Let's send it back to you.
Love seeing that traffic there behind you. I'm going to wait for one more vehicle to go by. There we go. All right, Christy, thank you so much. There's a few of them. We take you live, Skyfox overhead here. It is wonderful news to hear about some containment numbers there, 14%. Marla, we were unsure about any containment earlier this evening, and to have that update is really welcome news as we still look at the fire there on the ground.
Yes, LA County Fire, CAL FIRE, Angeles National Forest, they're all in unified cohesion as they battle this fire, the Hughes Fire. LA County Fire putting out those new numbers tonight, too, and also reminding us that they have crews, of course, and so does CAL FIRE at still the Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire. So they are spread thin, but they have a strong force thanks to outside help from Northern California, from out of state, and even internationally. So we thank all of the crews out there tonight.
We here at Fox 11 have had crews around Castaic since that Hughes Fire began.
One of those among our crew is Fox 11's Robert Moses. He joins us now live with his perspective tonight. Robert?
Marlon, Christine, we're right on Castaic Lake, and we've been watching these helicopters. You see one taking off there just in the distance. This is where they come and touch down, if you will, grab about 1,000 gallons of water, and then head to the front lines to do those water drops that we've all been telling you about. It's really like clockwork to see this. They come here, grab the water, go out, come back, rinse and repeat, and this happens every couple minutes or so. It's really an awe-inspiring thing to watch, and fortunately the winds are low enough that these aircraft can be here in the air and attacking this fire. We didn't get to see that with some of the other fires that have plagued this area, but luckily with this one, this is part of the arsenal at the disposal of these firefighters. Now, I've been speaking with evacuees throughout the day. I met a mother and her daughter earlier who live here in Castaic, and the mother, Terry, talked about what it was like to leave the home this morning.
Been home just about 5 minutes when Valerie texted me that there was a fire by the lake, and I went outside, saw it, and probably like for about an hour I was packing stuff up, and I kind of had a mental list of what I needed just because of watching, you know, people who just had gone through this. So I kind of had a mental note, just made a pile, packed it up, got the dog.
I grew up in this house like this. I've only ever lived in Castaic, and I'm 18, so it's definitely really sad. I mean, all my friends live here too. I had friends who got evacuated as well, so we've been kind of checking in on each other.
So I was able to text Terry earlier tonight. In our travels, we were able to get up to their house, and luckily it is unscathed, as are all the others in this neighborhood, which is fortunate. And I texted Terry that the house is fine. She was grateful for that, but she can't get back tonight. That area is still under a mandatory evacuation, so tens of thousands of people will spend this night somewhere other than their homes, and perhaps not sleeping a whole lot, wondering what tomorrow will bring. Marlon, Christine, back to you.